Welcome one and all to the Vantage Indy Special League here at Virginia International Raceway. We are in the dying moments of practice right now as the drivers get their last few corners in before we head to qualifying. Rick Raven just now went fastest, top of the leaderboard. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Round two of the Vantage Indy Special League. Last week we saw these drivers take on Sebring for the first time ever. Now we're taking on Virginia International Raceway for the first time here on iRacing in the Indy cars. Get ready to go, folks. Tom Minot, winner of last week's opening round, not here today, unfortunately, feeling a little bit under the weather. There you can get a good look at the track in all of its glory, all 17 turns of it. And we're about to go qualifying here, 10-minute qualifying on the way. I am your host here today, Nico. We'll bring in Parker a little bit later on. Daniel Michel was scheduled to join us. Unfortunately, something came up. Same with Purge, but here we go. Qualifying is about to start. And we're looking at Rick Raven getting out on track. Jace Keller out there as well. So it should be a good one. These cars are a little bit difficult to wrangle. Let's go on board, actually. Slightly revamped onboard angle. So you can get a better look at the driver's inputs, better look at the track as a whole, closer to what you might see in an actual IndyCar broadcast. But they're just getting hit in the tires right now, so you get that 10 minutes. There's a couple of drivers who might be skipping out on qualifying due to a regulation infringement. Larry Miles is one of those drivers. He does not have his name displayed clearly on the halo. I'll turn myself up there just a little bit. So he will be forced to skip out on qualifying here, per the regulations. So 2 races after today will be in the books out of 22, a long season. See, Tom Minot last week won the race. He's not here today. This will go for his drop round. He is scheduled for part-time. I think the Gas Racing Co. camp is working to get him a full-time deal here for the Vantage Indy Special League, as he was the opening race winner. And here we go. Jace Keller. First lap, 1:34.09. That was, of course, the out lap. Here's Parker Vance and Tyler Fink in the chat. Tyler Fink racing about an hour and a half ago in the Formula America race here, also at Virginia. That was on Forza. This here is on iRacing. We're watching Jace Keller right now. Excuse me, Casey Keller. Speaking of, thinking of Jace Meyer in the 21. Got them a little bit confused. My apologies there. Speaking of confusion, Eric Guillory. We were saying his name wrong all last race 1 week ago. He corrected us, and now we should be good to go for the rest of the season. There's Andrew Martinez in the chat, a.k.a. Loud Balloon. Look at these cars hugging these corners. It's a great shot there from the helicopter. So Casey Keller out front right now. Ben Kuhn out on track. Here is Casey Keller. So Ben Kuhn didn't have the best race last week. He was practicing. That whole Gas Racing Co. team was practicing all week. He is having a little bit of connection issues right now, but they're looking to improve their positioning this week. They are atop the team's championship by a single point over Aftershock. Speaking of Aftershock, it is Rick Raven going fastest so far, 128.897. Jace Meyer goes second fastest. Weather is looking clear for the IndyCars right now. There is Kurt Bray making his first start in the Vantage Indy Special League. Larry Miles. Oh, interesting. So it's a lap third fastest. Let's go on board with him. The 30 car. Currently third fastest. Ben Kuhn into fifth fastest. Nice look at that chrome and red and black paint scheme there. That livery on the Gas Racing Co. cars. There's Eric Guillory. We got his name right this time. So 52 laps here at Virginia is the scheduled distance, as there is Casey Keller. He sits in 6th position. Kurt Bray. He's yet to set a lap, but he's coming across the line right now. P11 looks like for him. No, it's actually not a lap at all. Tyler Justice out there. Any predictions in the chat as to who we're going to see? Gail Rolls is currently sitting on pole position. He's back in the pits. 2/10 clear of Rick Raven. So Rick Raven was the class of the field last week if you did miss it. Spoilers now. You can always go back and rewatch that full race broadcast here on our YouTube channel. And also, Chief Tankaroo did make a meme recap as well for that race. So all different kinds of ways to consume Vantage content here. Guillory goes 6th fastest. Kurt Bray down that back straightaway. Super long run down towards turn 14. Keeps it nice and tidy through there. Let's go on board with Kurt Bray as he finishes up the lap here. Up towards the line. This is Kurt Bray's flying lap. Coming to an end for GRC. Well, where does he put the car? P10. Tyler Justice looks like he's yet to set a full-on flying lap. They are teammates. Excuse me, that's Ben Kuhn we're looking at. There's Tyler Justice. Coming to the line right now as we speak, actually. Where does he go? Does he improve any? Yes, he does. 6th place for Tyler Justice. So Gale rolls with an absolute stunner of a lap here. He's in the pits right now. There he is. Gale rolls for Rodent Racing. His teammate Eric Guillory. Oh, there goes car off there. It's a 93 Ben Kuhn. He looks like he's done for. There he goes again. So 2 minutes left in qualifying. This driver is trying to get one more lap in. Ben Kuhn's yet to set, I think. No, he does have an official time. It is 9th place right now for Ben Kuhn. Chat getting pretty lively. Love to see it. Just got a nice little aerial view of Ben Kuhn there in the 93 car. His teammate Kurt Bray in 11th. His other teammates, Brandon Gass, not here right now. And Tom Minot, as mentioned previously, feeling a little bit under the weather for this event here today. We're going to see how that goes. These guys got to carry Gas Racing Co. here today in Virginia. As Ben Kuhn. It's a nice glory shot there, right in the sun. Inside a minute to go. Does anybody have anything for the driver of the 14 car, Gale Rolls? Here is last week's runner-up and pole sitter, Rick Raven, for Aftershock Racing. Going a little bit wide off the final corner. You can see the grass flying all over off the back of the car here. to the line. Rick Raven in the 1. Does not seem to improve. Let's go on board here. You can see the snap oversteer, and oh my goodness, that car is very difficult to drive for Rick Raven. He's on the absolute edge of the limits of grip. He's basically sliding through these corners. You can hear the tires squealing. And there it is again. Lots of oversteer into the wall. And he will be done in qualifying there with that hard incident. So Rick Raven looks like he will be maybe no better than second. He's got a lot to get around if he so chooses, but I don't think he will. We're looking at Tyler Justice right now. Inside 2 minutes to go to set the grid here for the Vantage Indy Special League at Virginia International Raceway. The Formula America race also on the YouTube channel if you want to rewatch that. It was a great one. I won't spoil anything for that, but it was an action-packed race for sure. Hopefully we'll get to see the same kind of racing here, and hopefully Tyler Justice, for his sake, improves. What's he got here to the line as Ben Kuhn goes 7th fastest. Ben Kuhn improving. Tyler Justice improving. Chase Tobin out on track for Aftershock. That TAFI artist. Pink and white car, is it red? Nope. Tobin's coming in. So he will be no higher than 7th. Chase Meyer improved as well. We did miss that. And that's going to do it for qualifying, folks. It's going to be Gale Rolls, pole position. So everyone's in the pits now. And under 30 seconds to go in qualifying. There it is, Gale Rolls on pole position. Congrats to him on grabbing the 2nd pole position of the season here. 22 race long season runs into the end of December. So if you're wanting to join, now would be the time. Get registered here today. There is open spots. It is a paid entry. However, there are team owners offering to pay that entry fee for you guys at home watching. If anyone's interested in joining the Vantage Indy Special League, if you're interested in sponsoring a race like we had last week, the Grand Prix of Sebring presented by Sue's Kitchen, your name, your company, whatever it may be, could be on the stream. Could be the official name of a race. Also selling the title sponsor. So let's take a look at the starting grid. It's Gale Rolls on pole position. Rick Raven looking to avenge last week's 2nd place finish. That is your front row. 1st place, Gale Rolls. 2nd place, Rick Raven. 3rd place, Larry Miles and Max Van Beest. P3 and P4, Van Beest for Aftershock. Larry Miles for Horsepower Hill Racing. P5 and 6, Meyer and Justice. Jace Meyer and Tyler Justice. Tyler Justice, who had a start the other day at Iowa for the Vantage Pro Series. P7 and 8, Chase Tobin and Ben Kuhn. This is row number 4. Row number 5 sees Eric Guillory, saying that name right from now on, and Casey Keller in P10. And then running out the rest of the grid is Kurt Bray in the 99 car for Gas Racing Co. He will be starting in P11. Has a lot of work to do. Can he pull off a last to first challenge? We're about to go pacing here, and then 52 laps of racing. Caution free in the first race. Will we see the same thing here today? Remains to be seen. Drivers roll off the pit road. And as they start to race, we'll give you guys a short break. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back. The challenge for the win. Gonna get alongside him. Off of 4. They touch. They touch. Drag race to the line. Could it happen again? Photo finish. Yes. Daniel Michelle. What a finish. We're going to go for it. For the lead. Oh 3 wide. 3 wide in turn 3. Run to the line. They're wrecking side by side. Who got it? Side by side. Right to the line. Who's it going to be? CP and CP and just about. Bell's gonna make him go the long way, and he does it. They touch. Does he hold on to it? Yes.
Close. But here comes Smitty. Smitty on the bottom. Here he comes to the line. Who is it gonna be? It is gonna be Mike Tyson.
The fireworks are going off on and off the track. Cuts the corner, does RBN. They touch again. A drag race, side by side. And here we go. The photo finish. Let's go ahead and take a look at the power rankings.
Yes!
So,
Sup, fuckers. I use math to make shit go fast.
gonna be a sitting duck here. There goes VNV, around the outside, up the middle, trying to get 2 for the price of 1, trying to get 3 for the price of 1, and he does! VNV in the 4th! Back from commercial, we're about to go racing here at Virginia International Raceway. Gale Rolls, the pole position sitter, down the back straightaway now towards turn 14. This is going to be the main overtaking point, in my opinion, depending on how these guys utilize push to pass as well as the slipstream. It is easy to overshoot these corners, not a lot of room for error whatsoever. You can see all grass runoffs. So you gotta be very, very careful. Gotta watch your surroundings, gotta be super aware of what is happening around you. There is the grid. Give me a good look there of the drivers. All eyes on Gale Rolls. Finished on the podium 1 week ago, wants to take another step up and get the victory here today. Rick Raven also looking for revenge. As they roll through the final set of quarters here. Here comes the pace car in. Gale Rolls leads us to green here for the Vantage Indy Special League at VIR. Round 2 about to be underway. Can Rick Raven get a good start? Green in the air, here we go. Pretty good start for the front 2. Can they keep it clean through turn 1? Already someone's trying to make moves back there. Around the outside goes Rick Raven into the lead. Can he hold on to it? No. I think someone might be off there in the back. No, Van Beest trying to make it stick around the outside. He's side by side. Gale Rolls already having some connection issues. Is Gale Rolls out? He's off the track, that's what he is. Rick Raven is through. Can Rolls make it stick? Wow. With grass on the tires. As they roar through the S's, that's a great shot there. You can see all the drivers. And there's a car off in the back. I think it's Kurt Bray. Bray spinning around, he's lost his front wing. Does he have suspension damage? Kurt Bray in trouble here early. Not the start you want to see if you're the GRC camp. Raven leading the way. Down the straightaway here. Gale Rolls gonna have a look on board with the pole sitter. And it looks like both of the GRC cars are out. Here comes Gale Rolls up the inside into turn 14. Who will be later on the brakes? Raven holds on to the inside. Rolls tries to make it stick around the outside. Here comes Larry Miles slowly closing in. Let's go on board with him. Rolls is having some connection issues here. At the end of the first lap, it's going to be Rick Raven leading the first lap. The 99 of Kurt Bray and the 93 of Ben Kuhn having some troubles here. Oh, some contact into turn 1. A bit of front wing is off. I think that's from Rolls. It has to be. It is. A big portion of the front wing there is off on the 14. Barely made any contact with the 1 car. Here comes Larry Miles. Here comes Max Van Beest is off right as I say his name. Can he keep it out of the wall? No, he can't. No, he can't. Van Beast! 2 weeks running! Early troubles! He gets a tow. Gale rolls. Surely he's not going to have enough grip through here. Rick Raven's going to be all over him. This could be a Raven versus Larry Miles fight for the win. Or at least the lead in the early stages of this race. There you see the move for the lead. Rick Raven out front. Rolls, missing some front wing. He's trying to hold on. Larry Miles trying to get there. Here comes Tyler Justice. Is Jace Meyer out as well? These guys are dropping like flies. Chase Tobin now is in on the fight. The reason it's showing Van Beest and Meyer in front of these guys is because they did get towed back to the pit road, so they technically were ahead for a moment. Not anymore though. Here goes Larry Miles. Gotta give a shout out to Gale Rolls here, holding on with half a wing, or at least trying to. He's on the red stripe tires. Here goes Tobin, having a peek. Got right into the grass there a little bit. Rick Raven's off into the sunset. Larry Miles in second place. Gap to the leader, 1.3 seconds. Now Larry Miles has clean air in front of him. You can see a view of all the leaders there. Lots of early victims being taken by VIR and some contact. Gale Rolls is one of them, but let's go on board here. Just as I do that, he is having some moments, and he's off air. Gale Rolls, just as I was praising him for holding on with that front wing damage, loses a spot. Tobin into the top 3. It's an Aftershock 1-3 right now. I know that'll make Hoskins happy. Larry Miles, his teammate not here today. Van Beest seems to be out of the race. Now you do get an extra 5 points for even appearing in a race added to your total. Larry Miles 1.1 seconds behind the leader. Another 1 second behind him is Chase Tobin. I think these guys can maybe start to take a little bit of a breath now. 4 laps in. If you've made it this far, you've survived the chaos. Where is Keller here? Getting up the inside of Rolls, it looks like. No, that's Guillory. Eric Guillory and Casey Keller going at it. Tyler Justice running nicely in 4th position. There's a car off in the background. It is Guillory. Stuck on track, trying to wait till everyone passes by, and now he's going to spin it back around there. Eric Guillory in trouble here earlier on. Oh my goodness, he spins it again. Got to take a deep breath here if you're Eric Guillory and trying to get composed. Back out front, you see the top 4. Let's get Parker Benson here for a bit of a insight to this race so far. Parker, it's Nico, you got me?
Yes, sir, what's up?
All right, so a bit of a crazy start. We see guys losing wings, going off the track, hitting the wall.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What'd you make of this start so far?
Kind of expected, you know. It's an Indy car. Hell, one weird gust of wind and your car is going to break in half. So I'm not surprised that they're falling apart, you know.
Yeah, we saw the light
I mean,
contact.
Overall, it's been good racing. It's been cool to see these guys wheel an Indy car around Virginia. But
Any insights? Do you have overlays to let us know who has how much push to pass, etc.?
I don't have any of my overlays up at the moment. I think Todd might.
Maybe we'll bring Todd in here. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, Parker. We'll maybe talk to you a little bit later.
Yes, sir.
We're trying to get some push to pass information related to you, the viewers at home here, sooner rather than later. Right now, we're going to take a look at this battle for second place. Chase Tobin. Races on Saturdays and Sundays. Here he comes up the inside of Larry Miles. These two go back a little while. Look at Tobin. What a move. Can he make it stick around the outside? He's on the red stripe tires. That's a great move from the 28 to make it a 1-2 for Aftershock. Great stuff from Tobin. Now he's going to try and run down his teammate. Incredible pass around the outside of Larry Miles. Miles, very respectful driver. Did concede there a little bit. Look at Cal Rolls. He is just pushing on. He hasn't lost a ton of time. 3.5 seconds behind the car in front. With half a wing, by the way. Hoskins happy in the chat. Team owner for Aftershock Racing. Van Beest, unfortunately, out of this race. That third Aftershock driver 2 weeks in a row. He's had pretty rotten luck here in the Vantage Indy Special League. And now Tobin's pulling away. Does he have the pace to run down Rick Raven? .1 seconds is the gap. Rolls and Keller could have a bit of a fight here. This is going to help Rolls in the straight line. Just a little bit, slightly less drag with that front wing missing. Now you do get to drop your worst result on the season, so you do get one drop race out of a 22 race schedule. So the driver's not here today. Will technically be losing 0 points on the season. For the full-time drivers anyways. Gap for second, still around the same. Larry Miles trying to chase around Chase Tobin. And it could get a little tricky, as I know these cars in dirty air, especially as your tires start to maybe switch performance, could get a little bit trickier for the car following behind. We saw last week at Sebring the tire deficit flip after about, well, we're in that golden range actually, about 7 laps. Now I know VIR is a vastly different circuit to Sebring, but expect those black striped tires, or those black walls, the primaries, to maybe have a difference versus the alternates, the red stripe alternates. Gonna be a little bit different here. Larry Miles closing in, 0.3 of a second. A cloud over turn 14. They come through 15, 16, and the final corner 17. And yes, Max Van Beest did unfortunately crash out on the first lap. Very similar to what we saw him do last week at Sebring. Guillory in trouble. We see a move here. Larry Miles into second, overshoots the first corner. Tobin fights back and gets it right back. Tobin back into second place. These guys continue to scrap Tyler Justice. He's going to be right there with him. And a huge wiggle from Chase Tobin. Mentioned it on the last lap, excuse me. But these tires, they're going to start to flip in performance. I think we might be starting to see the early signs of that here. The alternate red stripes, fast at the beginning. After about 7 to 10 laps or so, they're going to start to fall off just a little bit. And I expect to see some green flag pit stops sooner than later. Could be getting to that point in time. Here comes Tyler Justice. That Rogue Energy car. 45 laps to go here. 8 down. Well, 7.5 down. This fight for second rages on. Rick Raven has stretched out a 4.7 second lead over his counterparts. He was the man of the race last week. Slight miscalculation on fuel made it to where he had to pit with 2 to go. And here we go, round 2 again. Tobin versus Miles down the front straightaway. Who's going to get the better run into turn 1? It's going to be Tobin around the outside, Miles up the inside. Do they keep it clean here? Yes, they do. Still side by side on the exit of 2. Tobin has the inside again. Miles around the outside. Larry Miles with the grip. An equally as impressive move compared to what we saw earlier from Chase Tobin. Larry Miles fighting back here. And those primaries coming into shape now. That was a great move from the 30 car. See, Tobin is really pushing that car. Really deep into these corners. Into the slipstream. Looks like he's using push to pass here. Does he get up the inside of Miles? Here he goes. Has a peak. Doesn't quite get there. Interesting to note that Miles might be trying to make these red tire runners just burn up their tires. Look how defensive he's having to go, trying to break the slipstream down the front straightaway. Miles all the way defensive to the inside. Tobin trying to make it around the outside. Maybe a cutback here from Tobin. Gets right to the back of that 30 car. The dirty air playing a factor. Tobin early on the brakes. This is a great battle for second place. Look now, but Keller is catching up to Rolls as well. Rolls still going with that half front wing. Miguel Rolls did qualify on pole position. Miles over the curbs. It's a nice quiet view there of the drivers in their cars. These things are tough to wrangle, by the way. This is no easy task. Last week at Sebring, this week at VIR, 2 very tricky tracks on these vehicles. The IR 18. Into 14 again. The gap is significantly bigger than it was 1 lap ago. Lap 11 now, out of 52. Rick Raven continues to lead here, looking for his first Vantage Indy Special League win. First win in any Vantage series at all. Would be his second start. Tyler Justice comfortably in 4th. And this fight for 5th is going to start to heat up. Casey Keller in P7. Gale Rolls in P5. Missing half a front wing. This is driver of the day material, if I've ever seen it. Let's go on board with Keller. How does he navigate this battle with a car that's hampered with downforce? Double apex corner here. Very similar to Road America. Excuse me, Road Atlanta. Another track that we do race on in this league. Oh. Rolls blinking in and out for a second. Can he get there? If he does get there, can he pass him? 5/10 of a second, still the gap. If you're Keller, you got to be a little bit frustrated. Going around this track here. Sitting behind a car that is effectively hampering your progress. If you get past Rolls, you're now nearly 6 seconds behind Tyler Justice. The gap's slightly growing, lap by lap. Moment there from Rolls. Looks like he had a little bit of a grip issue. We look ahead to Tyler Justice in the 44. Down the back straight, we can see the gap from Larry Miles to Rick Raven is coming down, and the gap to Chase Tobin is growing. So Larry Miles finding a very nice happy medium here. Important to note that Rick Raven is on those black walls, the primary, same as Larry Miles. Is that the holy egg, says Slay Raccoon. Elliot reference in the chat. It looks like Van Beest was a victim of desync this time on that opening lap. According to what we're seeing in the Discord. Let's try and go back to that opening lap if we can while these guys continue to race around. This is... we're going to be looking for Van Beest here. Oh yeah, Van Beest lost it there into the wall. Not sure if that was desync. This is the opening lap, mind you. Maybe just a lapse in judgment momentarily. Back to live pictures. Gaps roughly the same. 40 laps remaining here at VIR. And in comes Rick Raven. First pit stop of the day. Right behind him, Larry Miles. And Chase Tobin. Everyone's coming in. Is that Tyler Justice as well? So the entire top four stopping at exactly the same time. Gale Rolls. Everyone's stopping at the same time. So they're all going to be on exactly the same strategy. Rolls is going to have to get that wing replaced, but he will be not too far off of everyone else. There is Tobin. Quick stop for Tobin. Back onto the black walls now. Mind you, you do have to use a different compound at some point in the race. Raven's onto the red, so he's going to try and put in a really quick stint here. And he will be quicker at first, but expect in about 5 laps time, Miles and Tobin and maybe start to catch in. Is Miles on the reds? No, he's not. So Miles is on the primary black walls. Same with Tobin. Same with Justice. But Rick Raven zigging when everyone else is zagging. Will it work out this week? You do have to use one compound at least once, or both compounds at least once, I should say. So Raven getting that out of the way here early. Now it did come down to Minot versus Raven at the end there. Raven had to pit with 2 to go. There's Tobin in trouble. Tobin! Seemingly out of the race. Yes, he is. What happened with Chase Tobin? We're going to go back here and see if we can get a rewind. This is Chase Tobin on cold primary tires. Slightly goes off there. No big deal. Gets back on the track. All is well. Mind you, he still has cold tires. Through the S's. Off the track again. No. Overcooks it hard into the wall. And he seems to be done. Not good for Tobin. Not good for Aftershock. The drivers falling like flies. All that's left is Rick Raven out here. He's got 7 seconds over Larry Miles. Can he hold on to this lead? Will it be Rick Raven at day's end hoisting the winner's trophy? Or will Larry Miles close that gap? Gotta feel so bad for Chase Tobin. He was running very strong. Maybe he can bounce back tomorrow. V1 at Jeddah for round 2 of the 7th season of V1. Chase Tobin does run the double there. Double open wheel duty. And the gap's starting to come down now for Rick Raven and Larry Miles. 6.6, 6.5. I think. This might start to flip here pretty soon. Not soon enough, though. No one has done a country paper, but people have done a yeehaw. That is true, referring to the Formula America race earlier in the day. 7 seconds now, the gap. Gale rolls, by the way. Looking to get back on the podium. Has to get past Tyler Justice. He's got the pace now. He's on the alternate red walls. It was a little bit wide there, but keeps it within the track. Keeps it on the track, rather. And he's got a full front wing now, so we'll get to see the pace that Rolls displayed in qualifying. Just as I say that, he does blink in and out. Should be right there, though. Yes, he is. Gale Rolls. Close it in quick to Tyler Justice. Here he comes. Looking to make a move around the outside. Justice breaks early there. Still side by side through 2. Rolls is going to have the inside. Oh, a bit of a squeeze there. A bit of a squeeze. A wiggle from Justice. Rolls is through. Back in the podium places where he was 1 week ago. Miles has the gap around 6.7 seconds or so. Getting closer to 7 now. There's a great aerial shot at Rick Raven, the race leader. Took the lead on lap 1. Well, his counterparts hit some struggles, you could say. And smooth sailing for him. He is on those red walls, so just getting that compound use out of the way early. That he can go to the end with the primaries. I think his goal is to not lose too much time to the cars behind during this stint once the crossover point happens. But right now he's still pretty well within that pace advantage for the red walls. You can see they're starting to drop like flies there. Ben Kuhn running in 6th is a lap down. 5 drivers on the lead lap. Gil Rolls already took 0.5 of a second out of Larry Miles in front of him. Now, he did qualify on pole, so despite spending the whole first stint with half a front wing, he could be on for a top 3 finish for sure here, maybe even top 2. He's got a lot of pace and a lot of race left as well. Let's see if we can't get Todd Lee in here. Let's work on getting Todd Lee into the broadcast booth while we can. Todd, it's Nico in the booth. You got me?
I got you clear, buddy. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. So, Parker alluded to you possibly having insights as to who has how much push to pass left.
I unfortunately do not.
Oh,
There's
okay.
been some technical difficulties in race control today. Trading Paints is acting weird for some reason. We're seeing different paint schemes. Just things aren't loading up right, and not quite sure why.
Oh, so a little bit of gremlins all around. Okay. Well, thanks for the insight, and best of luck for the rest of the race control.
I appreciate it. Sorry about that, buddy.
No worries. There's Todd Lee. Looks like we're having some technical difficulties all around. .3 is the gap now. .2, so we might be hitting that crossover point. .4. We're going to keep an eye on this gap. Rolls. Trying to reel him in here. Larry Miles. Let's go on board with him. Let's get a good view of the 30 car of Larry Miles. A longtime Vantage racer. I think he first debuted with Vantage back in 2021, early 2021. It's been out 4 years. See just how fast these guys are going. .33 to go. On to the front straightaway. .2 is the gap. Maybe start to smell a little bit of blood in the water. Could be another slow burner like we saw last week. Caution-free race so far. Love that onboard view. It's great to see. He's nailing all these apexes. His Miles, you could see, he took a good chunk out of the lead there as well. 0.5 of a second down. Inside 6 seconds. Everything okay with Rick Raven? Nearly lost a full second in the last quarter lap. There's Gale rolls 10 seconds behind, slowly closing in. Larry Miles, I think we've officially reached that crossover point. It was 6.5 about a lap ago. Now it's 5.4745. Coming down lap by lap. Miles is coming, and fast. Don't clip that. Anyways, 5.3. Here he comes. Keller in 5th. No real action. We're kind of watching this as the gap for the lead starts to dwindle. If you're a Raven, do you consider coming in the next couple of laps? Let me see real quick to see what Raven's first stint on the hards was. Pit on lap 13. Everyone pit on lap 13. So already it's been only 9 laps. Under 5 seconds now. 4.9. Here on lap 22. 31 to go. And the gap is shrinking. Can Raven respond here? Can he get some more performance out of these tires? Or will it be a repeat of last week? Slay quoted me there in the chat. 2 dominating performances followed by 2 non-wins would be a huge blow to the confidence of the Rick Raven and Aftershock camp. Four seconds is the gap. If you're Raven, you got to consider coming in at some point relatively soon. Ben Kuhn 3 laps down. He had some good pace in practice and in qualifying. Race hasn't really gone his way. 3.2 is a gap here. A couple laps ago it was about 6.2. Here comes Larry Miles. 2.9. Can Rick make it? Can he survive this stint? Now, mind you, Miles still has to run the alternates at some point as well. .6. Raven's got to be sweating. The Aftershock drivers watching at home got to be sweating. Miles smells blood. He can see him up ahead. Rolls. Is Rolls in trouble? Might have had an issue there. Now look at this. His wing is missing again. What happened with Gale Rolls? After that excellent first stint. I'll have to go back here in a little bit and see what happens, but right now we're watching this dwindling lead out front. As that continues, let's see what happened with Rolls. Oh, locked up off the track. Into the wall, not ideal. Back to live pictures, 2.21 is the gap. Larry Miles is kind of plateaued there a little bit. .28 to go. Under 2 seconds now. Raven's got to be sweating. He just has to survive this stint. Is he coming in this time? No, he stays out another lap. It's now been about 12 laps. This will make 13. Since that opening stint came to an end, gap is under a second. Larry Miles is officially here. The fight for the lead is officially on. How long can Rick Raven hold on for? Larry Miles has won in the Vantage Pro Series before. He's won in leagues past in Vantage. Rick Raven was so close 1 week ago. Could not come out on top. Gotta be calm if you're Raven here. You know Miles still has to run the same tire you're on. Here comes Larry Miles though, looking for the lead on lap 26. 0.2 of a second. We'll come to that straight away. It's going to be quite the drag race. Here we go. Larry Miles in the slipstream. On the push to pass button. Comes out alongside. Gets to the inside, and Larry Miles takes the lead of the race. And he clears them before 14. New race leader, it is Larry Miles in the 30 car for Horsepower Hill Racing. Rick Raven to second. And just like that, Miles comes in. Raven stays out. Very interesting. Okay, we'll have to see how that cycles out. So Miles took the lead for all of 2 corners. Raven's back out there. So Raven went longer on softs, on the alternate reds, than Miles did on these hard tires. See if he goes to softs now. Halfway through the race. Back onto the black tires for Miles. Justice and Keller come in as well behind him. Rick Raven gonna keep an eye on that gap there. He got to halfway. So far. .8 is the gap. We'll see how the pit cycle goes. We'll see what Raven does here. How long is he going on these red stripe tires? The answer, 1 lap longer than Larry Miles. Gotta be careful not to speed. Painfully slow. Here comes Miles. We'll see what that cycle looks like. Did Raven get it right or not? Is he onto the black walls or not? Keller's in as well. Miles should be going through right now. No, not yet. Here comes Miles. Larry Miles to the lead. Rick Raven. He's going to have to get some heat in these tires, and now he can try and hunt down Larry Miles. Gap is about 2.2 seconds. The tires do take a little bit to get to some heat into them. Just got to be careful if you're Raven not to go off the track, like we saw happen last week with Gas and Van Beest. Like we saw earlier with Tobin. .6. This is crucial for Miles to extend this gap here as much as possible. Larry Miles getting a slight tow from Ben Kuhn, the lapped car ahead. That's going to help him out just a little bit to extend the lead. Rick Raven, will he be on the push to pass? No, he won't. The steering wheel will light up green. So 2.47 seconds as he crosses the line. Rick Raven has some work to do here. I feel like he maybe went a little bit too long on that stint on the alternate reds, but we'll see what happens. Miles still has to go on the alternate reds. We saw last week, different game of course, but saw someone get disqualified from V1 for using not the correct combination of compounds. Ben Kuhn in the way here. For the rules, he is more than one lap down, so he does have to concede there. Chief Dankaroo, a fan of Larry Miles on the chat. Look at this. Rick Raven's absolutely wheeling that thing right now. Did Raven pit? Asked Saucy, aka Hoskins. Yes, he did. The top two have made their most recent pit stops. Miles did overcut, or rather undercut, Rick Raven, so he's got some work to do. The gap one lap ago was 2.47, now it's 2.2, coming down ever so slightly. Tom Minot, unfortunately, under the weather, could not make it to the track here today. So no Minot Monday this week. The championship leader before today will not be racing with us at Virginia for round 2, but luckily for him, he does have that drop round. So does everybody else. Two seconds now. Raven starting to pull it back a little bit. 23 to go here at Virginia. And Miles is off a little bit. Can he hold on to it? That's going to kill his straight line speed. Rick Raven's going to close in. Miles with a slight mistake. Could he be looking in the mirror? Could he be hearing footsteps from Rick Raven? He knows Raven's quick. He knows it's crucial to keep this gap up, because he still has to get those red stripe tires on before the end of the race. 1 second, just about, is the gap. Raven closing in very quickly. Oh, just as we go on board, he's have a slight moment in turn 2. Fighting this car for grip. Fast they're going, just so quick through these corners. Love these on boards. Slam on the brakes here on the second gear. First for this right-hander. And onto this longest straight on the track. The left-hand side of your screen, you will see how fast Rick Raven is going. Over 170. Nearing 180 before it's time to brake. .1 seconds is the gap. Miles seems to be responding. He's trying to keep him at bay for now. .21 remaining here in this one. These drivers gonna have to stop one more time, just based on the cycles that we've seen. Rick Raven is really closing this gap though through the first half of this lap. Under a second now. Can Raven get there? Fast-paced S's. Down to the long straightaway. And the run towards 14. .7 of a second. Raven's getting there. When does Miles pull the trigger? He lost last pit on lap 26, so it's got some time to go, honestly. He's going to throw on the soft tires at the end, more than likely. One stint to the end. He's going to try and get at least 7 or so more laps as Guillory is into the pits. Another slow burner here in the Vantage Indy Special League. .7. This is as close as Raven's been. Just as I say that, he's off the track. Raven off the track just as he was closing in on Larry Miles. Could that be a commentary curse? I'll leave it up to the chat. But I can't believe that. I cannot believe that one bit. .7 now is the gap. All that work that Rick Raven did out the window. Who races for Horsepower Hill Racing? That is a good question. The answer is Larry Miles and Matthias Ezekiel Marcomini, who is not here today. Looked like for a second Raven went straight on. Is the grass yellow? I'm not sure what that means. So Larry Miles, almost called him by his old Xbox username. Larry Miles in the driver's seat for this race victory. He's just got to nail this final stint. Slice says, I'm good on the commentary curse. I'll take it. One less victim. Stays out another lap. Coming 18 to go. Could be a driver's seat reference. Could we get Larry Miles on the driver's seat? Four seconds. Miles, newfound confidence now, starting to pull away a little bit. Was he about to call him Larry Smash? I was. I nearly did. Old habits. Rolls into the pits here, I think. No, he's out of the pits. Trying to get back on the podium here. Tyler Justice in front of him. 3.9. Twice he's lost his front wing. Half his front wing anyways. And twice he's fought back. What a monumentous win this would be for HPH here in the Vantage Indy Special League. I could do that, Slay. Absolutely, I could do that. 3.5 seconds is the gap. Raven starting to close back in slightly. It's been about 3.5 to 4 seconds, though, since that mistake from Raven. We are probably 3 to 5 laps away from the final pit stop for both of these drivers. I think that 3.6 second buffer is huge. Miles has to go onto the soft tires. We saw Raven get about a 6-second lead. Maybe 7 seconds, and then it slowly came down. Miles caught him right at the end of the stint. Realistically, for your Miles, you want to go as long as you can here. There would have been 10 laps since your last pit. If you do another 5, 12 to the end, ooh, that could be close. Could be close, because the crossover point is about 7 laps. If Miles wins this race, it's going to be his 23rd career Vantage victory, which would tie him second for the all-time leaderboard between Chunky Dijon, RBN Viad, and himself. Daniel Michel is, I think, in 3rd or 4th with his 18 or 19 victories. Would he be the first driver? He would. First driver in Vantage history to win on iRacing and console, PC and console. If he can bring it home, that is. 16 laps to go. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. But Miles is in a strong position. The gap has come down, 3.1 seconds. There is a 1 lap difference between these guys' last pit. Raven pit on 27, Miles pit on 26. Oh yeah, Mickey Mouse completely discounted Hoskins. He won on console and iRacing, so never mind. Miles would be the second driver to win on iRacing and console here in Vantage. No disrespect, Hoskins. This one is pretty forgettable. Full on hate from Chief Tinkeroo in the chat. Does Miles come in here? No, he does not. Stays out for another lap. Does Raven come in here? No, he does not. Let's go on board with Raven as he tries to hit his marks and he tries to reel in Larry Miles. .4 seconds. Ravens found the pace. Gil Rolls comes into the pits to make his final pit stop. .5 seconds is the gap here. 15 laps to go. We are in that pit window. Gale Rolls, of course, came in. Rolls? What happened with Rolls? No, he's back. Okay. We got an A train in the chat. If you are Raven, do you consider an undercut? I think we still have 15 laps to go. Plenty of time. You're just trying to reel him in on a pace. Miles is going to have the faster tire for about 5 to 7 laps at the end of the race here. And then it's going to flip very drastically. And assuming these drivers don't make any mistakes, it could come down to the final 2 or 3 laps. Speaking of mistakes, a slight slide from Miles there. Raven closing in. 14 laps remaining here at VIR. Whoa, a huge moment for Raven in the back there. The rear end kicked out. You can see green on the steering wheel means he's up. Means he is on push to pass. Gets it to about a second. 0.8 of a second. Rick Raven, full push mode now. I think it's important that he gets ahead of Miles before the pit stops. And it's not going to happen here. Miles is in. This is it. Big moment for the 30 car. Can he make this tire deficit work in his advantage and build a big enough gap so by the end of the race he has a nice little buffer to Rick Raven? We're going to see where they come out. You do have to use multiple compounds in a race. This is going to be Larry Miles on the red stripe. You can see them go on there. And here he comes. Raven. All eyes on him. .30 seconds is the gap. Last time they pit and Miles was ahead, the gap was 28. And he came out 2 seconds ahead of Raven. Now it's 30. It's going to be super close. My heart's starting to pick up a little bit. Matthew's about to put some miles on those tires. Says Chief in the chat. In comes the race leader. The gap was about 30 seconds. This is crucial. Can't speed here. 1 week ago, it was the last pit stop that caught out Raven. This time, he should be good to the end. He's going to throw on the blacks. Miles will be on the alternate reds. Here we go. Rounding the final corner now. Miles will inherit the lead. But by how much? Where is Raven? Is he ahead of him? Just gets ahead. Miles into the lead. Rick Raven, does he throw on some reds? Oh, we're going to have a alternate shootout here. Maybe he didn't have enough black walls. So these guys are going to go to the end on these tires. And it's going to be an all-out fight to the end. Who has more pace in the tires? I know Larry Miles right now has more heat in the tires. 1 lap advantage in terms of heat in the tires. 0.7 of a second. Thought for a second Rick Raven was going to throw on the black walls. He went on to reds. Be careful not to push too hard here. Raven goes a little bit wide. Is he on push to pass? Yes, he is. Green on the steering wheel. What about Miles? It's going to be a no for him. Is he 5-6 miles per hour faster? 0.5 of a second. 12 laps to go. It was a fight last week between Minot and Raven. This week, it's Larry Miles and Rick Raven. Only one of them can win. They've both had great races. Under 0.4 across the line. 11 laps to go here at VIR. Late on the brakes. My goodness, here comes Rick Raven. Right to the gearbox of the 30 of Larry Miles. Miles and Raven have to hold on to these tires to the very end. On board with Larry Miles. Back to Raven. Through the S's. Raven's going to have a real good shot on this back straightaway here. So long as he keeps it on the road for this hairpin. This double apex right-hander. Here he goes. Is Larry on the push to pass? Yes, he is. Raven is not. So strategically using the push to pass here to thwart off. Similar to Formula One, using that ERS. Another slow burner here. The Vantage Indy Special League. Took a second to get to this point, but now we got an all-out dogfight for the race win. 10 to go here at VIR. 0.5 second is the gap. Raven and Miles taking vastly different lines through the first few corners. There is Rick Raven. Trying to avoid this dirty air. Larry Miles, a very smart driver. Trying to use this dirty air to back up Raven. Then shoot out of the corner. Chat deciding who to go for. It's a slide there from Miles. Down the straightaway here. This is going to be Raven's best chance. He has not been this close just yet. Push to pass for both of these drivers. Here we go. Does Raven make a move? Having a look to the inside. Is Rick Raven. He's going to have to go the long way. Do we see a cutback here? No, Miles hangs on that time. Threat. Put off for another lap. Close again. 0.2 of a second across the line. Inside 10 to go. 9 laps remaining. Raven trying to go the long way. Or is he setting up a cutback here? Miles going super defensive. Making that car as wide as possible. Let's see Raven early on the brakes there. Early on the downshifts. Nowhere to go for the one car. Miles, edge of the track limits. Slipstream for the one car. Here he comes up the hill. Does he try something in the 12? Oh, he's letting off early. He's trying to get a good run up. All the way wide. Full pelt down the straightaway one more time. Does Miles survive this attack? Two-tenths of a second, no move attempted here. Miles went a little bit wide on the penultimate corner. It's going to have a drag race here. Rick Raven through. Larry Miles with a moment that might cost him the race. It's going to cost him the lead, or is it? Late braking into one. Lock up from both of the drivers. Miles back through. Back to the lead. Raven's going to have the inside. Does he hold on to it? Can Miles make it stick around the outside? Rick Raven back through. Or is he? Miles gets him again. Incredible stuff. Larry Miles back out front. Side by side through the whole first sector. Larry Miles holding on. Rick Raven giving it everything he's got. Bits of dirt flying. Off the back of the 30 car there. It runs a little bit deep. Chat going crazy. They're loving this. Miles on the push to pass. Raven just using the slipstream to his advantage. Down the straightaway they come one more time. No move made just yet. Raven trying to set up a pass here. Gotta be strategic. You can't just dive bomb up the inside or outside. You gotta set it up. It's like playing chess in these Indy cars, especially around Virginia. 7 laps remaining. This race kind of slower paced for the first 40 or so laps. And these two came together, putting on a great show here for the fans. Oh, Raven! Careful there. Hold on to it. I think that was the exit of 4, where he got a little bit squirrely. Through the S's they come. Four-tenths of a second. Miles has to hold on. Raven has 1 lap better tires. That's a great camera angle. These guys are absolutely throwing it. Absolutely throwing it through there. Down the straightaway one more time. Push to pass. Raven could get him here. Raven could have a chance. Is Miles on push to pass? Yes, he is. Here he comes, though. It's a great run for Rick Raven. Does he have a look up the inside? Yes, he does. Rick Raven to the lead. Does he clear him? Yes, he does. Rick Raven, new race leader with 7 to go. What does Larry Miles have for him? He's got to fight back here. Miles will now be on the offensive. Rick Raven timed his run beautifully. Miles dropping back now, 4/10 of a second. A lock up from Rick Raven ahead. You can see the smoke from the right front tire. Hoskins hype in the chat. So we've seen these two fight. The whole time it was Larry Miles out front, defending. Now how can Rick Raven defend? Through the S's they come one more time. Coming to 5 to go here at VIR. It's been a great battle the last 5 or 6 laps. And Raven's off! Raven's off the track! He's overcooked it! He has overcooked it and he's out of the lead! With 6 to go! The gap is 2.3 seconds! He's got to gather himself. Try and get back out there. Try and reel Miles back in. Miles' tires will likely be wearing just as much, if not more. But Larry's in the lead. Living like Larry with 5 to go at VIR. Raven, could it be shades of last week? Another runner-up after leading and dominating all day long. The gap is 2 seconds. He will be so destroyed if he can't get this one. Hats off to Miles. He's holding onto the car right now. And that is how close it is in these races. A slight mistake from Raven, just going a little bit wide. Could be the difference. 1.8 seconds is the gap. Raven's closing back in. This isn't done yet, folks. Don't count out Rick Raven. He'll be pushing very, very hard to get to the front here. Hoskins. Gotta be sick if you're a team owner. Like I said, don't count out Rick Raven. It's also very possible that Miles could make any kind of mistake and Rick Raven will be right back in it. Gap's under 2 seconds. Coming to 4 to go. Mark said do a flip. Incredible. Incredible scenes. .4, 1.5 is the gap. 4 laps remaining. Keeping an eye on Larry Miles out front. Those tires will start to fall off here. We're past that crossover point. Of course, they both went on to the red tires. You can see the gap visually. You can see Miles in front of you if you're Rick Raven. No push to pass for Miles. Definite push to pass for Raven. He's trying to get that gap down. Won't be this time, might not be next time, but he's trying to set up an attack with 2 or 1 laps to go. He could get there. He's got gold on the side of his car. Could this performance be as good as gold? It's gonna have to be if he wants to run down Miles. 3 to go at VIR. The gap is 1.3 seconds across the line. Lap 50 of 52. It's been a barn burner so far. The last 10 or so laps have been absolutely enthralling here. And this one's not done yet. We've reached the final act, nearing the finale. What do these drivers have in store for us? 1.3 still. 1 second even. And again a mistake from Raven. He's pushing too hard. 2 seconds is the gap again. .7. Raven's going to be pushing very, very hard. That could be it. That could be the dagger. We'll have to see what Raven has in store, but he's going to have to go all out qualifying laps. These last 2 laps. Two to go at VIR. These tires, it's a good point from Mark. They have to be cooked at this point. Absolutely done for. This guy's last pit on lap 39 and 40, 20 laps ago. No, excuse me. Oh my goodness. New Mexico math. 10 and 11 laps ago. A wiggle there from Raven. .5. Mark singing in the chat. .4. He's gonna have to go all out here, try and get the gap around a second, and keep the pressure on the final lap. First to pass here for both of these drivers. .4 is the gap. We're coming to the final lap here at VIR. It's been a great fight between these two gladiators. Only one will come out on top. Larry Miles is in this driver's seat. Coming to 1 to go. 1.35 is the lap, or excuse me, the gap across the line. What does Raven have for him? .2. If nothing else, another runner-up finish will give Rick Raven the lead of the championship. That's not what you want. You want to be winning races, especially as a racing driver. Up the hill they come for the final time here at VIR. 1.5 seconds down the straightaway for the final time. Miles just has to hold on to it. .3. Larry Miles through the final few corners here. The pressure was on all day. They could not stack up to him. It's going to be Larry smashing the field, not by miles, but by less than a second. Larry Miles is going to be your winner at VIR here in the Vantage Indy Special League. Round 2 goes the way of Miles. Rick Raven, another runner-up finish. Valiant effort. But it's not enough this time. He'll be crushed in that cockpit. I just know it. Tyler Justice will bring it home in third. He will take that last step on the podium. Larry wins. He's now tied second all-time for the Vantage wins list. 23rd career victory. And Tyler Justice there, the podium. Congratulations to the 44 car. It's a strong finish there. So what a race, what a finish. A slow burner here. We'll see if we can get some drivers in for some interviews. Miles is already in the waiting room. Let's get Raven and Justice to the waiting room as well if we can. Tyler Justice, let's get in here. Tyler Justice, it's Nico in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so a pretty safe race for you, I would say. You were kind of running your own race there, not really around anybody the whole second half of the race or so. How was that race for you?
Yeah, it was pretty much me racing the track, really. There's a lot of self-inflicted mistakes from guys around me at the beginning, which kind of just, I didn't really have to actually pass anybody on track. So that made it a little bit of a boring race for me. And the whole last stint, I turned my fuel map way down just to make sure I could make it because it was really close on fuel. And then when those guys started battling up front, I was keeping an eye on their relatives. I was hoping maybe they were going to run out and I'd sneak in but yeah, it was fun. Really fun race, honestly.
Yeah, you had a, like you said, pretty lonely race out there, but you managed to keep it in one piece and you got rewarded with the third place finish.
Yeah, that was a big thing in practice. When I was practicing prior, was just I was having so much trouble in practice just being consistent, so I just had to back it down just a little bit more. And but it paid off though. Just made it clean. I think I made two little small mistakes. I think one was on cold tires and one at the very end. I was just starting to get pretty tired and just made a stupid mental mistake. But yeah, it was mainly a mistake-free race, which is what I was looking for.
Yeah, great performance out there. Congrats on the podium and looking forward to seeing you out there next time.
Yeah, appreciate it. Just real quick, would like to say thanks to my sponsors at Save 22 Vet and Above the Yellow Line Media, and then our Rogue Energy Racing team. Use code RER for 10% off on your order. Appreciate it, guys.
Well, thanks for coming out, Tyler, and congrats on third place.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Looks like no Rick Raven in the interview waiting room. Let's get his team owner. Oh, yeah, let's get his team owner in here to speak on behalf of him.
Jesus Christ. Dude thinks he's Lightning McQueen or something.
So Hoskins, on behalf of Team Aftershock, a strong performance. Nothing wrong with second place, but Raven did have the pace there to win today. What was your thoughts on that race?
I was on the edge of my seat the entire run. Every driver on our team was doing great. We make mistakes, we learn from, but it's only round 2. There's a long season ahead of us. Raven has all of my drivers have the pace to win a race, I think. So I don't doubt that they'll go without a win this entire season. I think that they'll at least get one win each of them, if not more, because they all have the pace to do it. It's just making sure it all lines up properly throughout the actual race.
Yeah, just a slight mistake here and there ended up being the difference. But like you said, Raven does have tons of pace. Always good in qualifying, always good in the race. So his time will come, no doubt about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for coming out, Hoskins, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
All right, that was team owner for Aftershock, Jacob Hoskins. Let's get Larry Miles, the race winner, in here. Larry Miles, the man of the hour. It's Nico and Parker in the booth. You got us?
Oh.
All right. How you doing, Larry? Good win out there. Tough battle at the end.
Thank you.
Last 10, 12 laps.
That was... Oh, you don't know how long it took me to beat that guy. Like, I've raced him in, like, a different league, and I just couldn't... But I finally did. I'm so happy.
Yeah, that was quite the race. Those tires at the end. Did you think he was going to go into the blacks, or did you, when you saw him come out with the reds, were you a little bit relieved?
I think he knew the reds were the worst tires, so I don't know. He might have just wanted to match my pace early on, so I don't get too far away. And he did that, and then he went off, and then all that happened.
Yeah, quite the race. Yeah, you ran him down, you passed him, and then the pit cycle kind of came through. You did end up coming out on top, but he was racing there, real close to you for a minute. You said this is the first time you've beat him in a league.
Yeah. It's like my 20th something attempt.
All right, well,
He is difficult to beat in IndyCar. That's his car, man. He's so good.
yeah, Rick Raven definitely pretty quick. Second last week, second this week, but Larry Miles coming out on top. Congrats on the victory here in the Vantage Indy Special League.
Thank you.
All right, Larry, congrats on the win, and we'll see you out there next time.
All right, shoot.
Let's get him back over there. All right, Parker, that wraps up this VIR doubleheader. What'd you think of the race?
Man, the race was actually really good. I mean, definitely a lot better than what I could have done. I would have been like, the other gas racing company drivers, Kurt and Ben, and just all over the place. So it's probably a good thing that I didn't race, because I would have just made a damn fool out of myself. So, yeah.
All right, actually, let's get Raven in here. He's in the waiting room.
Oh, Rick's in here? There we go.
Rick Raven, it's Nico and Parker in the booth. You got us.
The man of the hour, dude.
I can't hear you. Hello? Just kidding.
Whoa. April Fools, dude.
Oh, yeah. April Fools.
So, second place again. Probably a little bit disappointing. You had the pace to win both.
Yeah,
weeks.
just a bit.
How was that final stint for you?
It sucked. Nah, it was good. It was a fuel mileage game. I got caught out the last race. I wasn't going to let that happen this time. What I don't understand is how he was able to stay out another lap. I had a lap on him. I was able to pit one lap after he did, and then we were both pushing at the end. And I thought for sure he would have to pit on that final lap. I'm like, the way he's pushing it, there's no way. And he must have just barely made it. He probably was coughing there, right going into turn one after the checkered flag, because he just barely made it. But kudos to him. He did a great job. It was a lot of fun to race with him. We raced side by side. It was nice and clean. And yeah, a little disappointing to be second place, but we'll be looking for a win. I don't know, next week, 2 weeks from now. I don't know.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now. It should be Long Beach. But yeah, definitely a great race, great performance, great show. If you get a chance, you should go back and rewatch it. But yeah, lots of clean racing between you two. Didn't come out on top this time, but I think we all are in agreement that you definitely have the pace to win multiple races here in the Vantage Indy Special League.
Well, we'll see. We certainly hope so. Just got to put the whole package together, not just speed. So we're still working on that.
All right. Well, congrats nonetheless. Second place, nothing to be ashamed of. You should be the new championship leader, so that's something. And yeah, best of luck.
Yeah, that's something. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you for coming out, Rick.
Thank you.
All right, so that should just about do it. We did get a word in from Rick Raven there. Still, as chipper as always. Yeah. Good attitude, that guy. I like him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he belongs here.
He belongs here. Yeah, he's one of us. Well, thanks everyone at home for watching the Vantage Indy Special League here at VIR. Gonna be off next week, and then we're heading to Long Beach. Long Beach. That should be fun.
Yeah, I'll be off the next 3 weeks. So, yeah.
Nice. All right. Well,
I will be MIA for a month again.
Oof. Well, we're looking forward to your return, Parker.
Yep, gonna see me be a back marker when I get back.
Just
Nothing
in time.
New, but hey.
Nah, you'll come back and win, I believe it. All right, everyone. Well, thanks at home for watching. I appreciate everyone who interacted, followed, commented, all of the above. Larry Miles is your winner, and we'll see you guys next time.